Hello, good evening. It is our regular, not so regulars.
Pretty
Oh,
often.
often. This is like our 29th episode, so I'm pretty excited about it.
hmm
So today we're going to talk about something exciting and interesting, and it is about meeting our spirit guides.
hmm
So I'm sure you and myself both have interesting experiences with our spirit guides. But also, I think in a lot of the work that we do as channelers, when we're going to heal somebody, we
Yeah.
often do meet their guides to get some insights, to get some specifics of like which direction the soul needs support and help with. And I do find that they are quite helpful and insightful, especially in the work that we do. Yeah, but not everyone can channel, and the spirit guides do their best in coming to give us nudges and give us whispers, and we can share all the experiences today with all our audiences.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Because I think I have a pretty interesting history because prior to my channeling life, I would hear people talk about spirit guides all the time, but I was just like, what do you mean? And like, what constitutes receiving messages from your spirit guides? Because I always felt like all these people talking about spirit guides, but I don't know if I sense anything or if I'm getting any guidance at all, you know. Sometimes life feels lonely and you're like, I'm all alone in my challenges and there's nobody helping me out with it. And I've definitely had that feeling where it's like when people talk about their spirit guides, I'd be like, what are you experiencing that makes you feel connected to these beings? Do they even exist? Like, what's going on with this whole thing?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I remember too, like when I first learned about spirit guides, I didn't like just learn about like a whole array of them. Like throughout my whole journey, of my own spiritual learning and spiritual growth and spiritual experiences, then I realized that, oh my God, we actually have a big team of spirit guides. But initially, when I entered into this foray, I started with just the angels.
Mm.
Sorry, I
So,
choked.
yeah. Oh, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. But so it started with the angels. And there was a lot of hints about like, how the angels try and give us nudges and try to communicate with us.
hmm
And that was my first experience of spirit guides.
Interesting. So you say your first experience was angels. So are angels like spirit guides or are spirit guides angels?
I
Like,
think that when we talk about spirit guides, we are very inclusive of all arrays of spirit guides. So they could be angels, they could be elementals. So we're talking about even mermaids, fairies, dragons, uh,
mm,
unicorns. Like they are also our guides. Some of them call them our animal guides as well. So some people actually do have animal guides. Like it could be a leopard, a lion, a bear. Um, I met my own spirit guide, which is an elephant, which I kind of like.
mm,
Yeah, and then there's also what we call the star nations, where there's the Arcturians and the Pleiadians because of our past life relations to them. So there are some of them who then choose to continue to serve as a guide because of that previous experience. But there are also guides like our ancestors who choose to
yeah.
stay as our guide. Um, Either they're a deceased, not deceased
Deceased.
grandparent or a great grandparent, or even some like even if some people's parents who have passed on earlier, they
Yeah.
may choose to come back and serve as a spirit guide. So it's actually a full array of them. But it's just that for myself, the first time when I learned about spirit guides was actually through learning about the angels.
Okay, I
I want to
see.
hear your story. What was your story?
Oh no, I'm just like because my background, my history
Mm,
is like I didn't know if they were really a thing. So I thought it was a nice place to start. Because that's how I felt about it prior to doing the channeling. And then, when we do the channeling work, connecting with them is like connecting with any other kind of being. And so now when I talk to them, it feels pretty similar to when I'm channeling.
mm,
And it's always nice to connect with and kind of get confirmation as well from other sources. Like recently, um, I was doing a reading with a friend. She wanted to do like a Bazi reading. And so I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. And she brought up some stuff around like health being a big theme in my life in terms of sharing about topics related to health. And I said, that's so funny because when I connect with my guides and I ask them for advice around like, how do I make this thing successful? How do I do this or that? The one of the most recurring pieces of advice is as long as you take care of your health, that's the most important thing to make sure that everything else can work. So it's moments like that where there's like a little nice overlap. Or sometimes when I get these little like little instructions of like, oh, like do this, or oh, this person is going to tell you about this thing, you should go talk to them. It's those kinds of things where it's like, oh, okay, like there's definitely something going on here. And with the channeling and interacting with other people's spirit guides, then it becomes really vivid
mm.
when you can feel them like coming through.
Yeah. I had like I had an experience one time which I thought
Mm.
was like very clear and loud, was actually from somebody else's spirit guide. It
Mm.
was something just really minor to me, but I guess
Mm.
it was a really big deal to the person.
Mm.
Mm. So I was running to I guess a little workshop uh that we were learning something. I can't remember what we were learning, but as I was about to leave, I really locked the door.
Mm.
A voice said, "Go back. You need to pick up a bag." And I'm like, "Pick up a bag." So it's a little pouch, and it was a cute little pouch, but there's nothing inside. And I was like, okay, I was really running late, but I being a bit more I guess intuitive and having a bit of a psychic abilities and all that, I was like, sure, let's go back and pick up the bag, right? So I pick up the bag, not knowing what I'm gonna do with it, and I was really running late, and then I just got it and then ran to the bus stop and then reached the workshop. And then my girlfriend, who signed up the same workshop with me, she was later than me, and she was so flustered. And then we all smell like her perfume. It's obvious her perfume bottle has broke, and
Mm.
like the smell of the perfume just permeated the whole workshop. And there are shards of glass all over her cosmetic pouch.
Mm.
Oh, okay, I think this pouch was meant for you then. So I took that pouch and gave it to her. I was like, that was a really weird experience. But
Yeah.
makes sense. So I guess for a lot of people, sometimes when they're stepping out of the house and then they hear a little nudge to say, go get that umbrella. And then it may be sunny out there, and then the next 10 steps, the rain start to fall.
Yeah.
That's when their guides actually seems to have been talking to them. And that's when we're like, do we differentiate between instinct and our guides,
Mm. Yeah.
right? I would definitely feel sometimes it's the guides telling us what to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like, just knowing that we have a team now, I actually do feel like, hey, we're never alone. We're always supported and always guided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of our current channeling students, you know who, I worked with him because he wanted to know his guides. So I was like, okay, I'll channel them and see like what's up. And a whole bunch of them came forward. And they talked about being kind of like in charge of, or their focus of what they bring guidance around was related to specific things, including stuff like health and like yeah, all different things. Like I remember the one that he spoke to me about the most was one that was like, oh, I help with the like the body, like when the body's in trouble or has disease and things like that, then I try to help to with the body. And so that was like a really cool thing, especially because we did some work with that guide specifically around like skin health that has been really fruitful. So yeah, it's really interesting connecting with people's guides.
Yeah, especially like when we are working, right? When we're working with on our cases and when we have to heal a lot of our clients, and their guides come forward and they're usually very loving, very supportive. And that's what I love about the guides. They are definitely here to support us and guide us.
Mm-mm.
Like sometimes I'm expecting them to like give some complaints because it's like obviously the person's not looking after the health and not listening to the guidance and all that, but they're always so loving because there's this thing called the free will. The guides actually do respect that. They can't interfere, right? They can't interfere and like change the turning wheel for us.
Mm.
So I guess this is a good segue to share with people like if they have an inkling to how the guides are here to talk to them, communicate with them, or drop hints that their guides are here to help them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mentioned that when I first started learning all these things was actually being introduced to the archangels and to the team of angels. So one of the things that the angels always leave hints about that they are there is actually true feathers.
Mm.
So when I first started learning and not turned on a lot of my channeling skills, I would always tell the angels that, okay, especially when I'm traveling by myself, going to a new hotel room, I said, I want to know that I'm safe and that you're here looking after me. Show me a sign. And then I'll go brush my teeth, prepare to go to bed. And then I'll be walking to my bedside. And then sometimes on the pillow, or by the bedside table, I will see a tiny feather. And
Mm.
usually a tiny feather is a sign that the angels are here. Um, so I always take that as a comfort. But of course, talking to the skeptics, they'll go, did you check whether your pillow is made up of down feather or
Yeah, I mean, but even then, it's not like pillows made of down feathers are always just
yeah,
leaving
exactly.
feathers
They're not
everywhere.
just like fluffing themselves and then oops, here comes a feather, right? So
Yeah.
so I
I
always
mean, I don't typically see feathers just randomly in my hotel rooms.
yeah, and then sometimes they do drop a random coin. Like if you're walking on the streets, and then like if you don't feel very safe walking on the streets, so you either see a coin or a feather. So I always took that as a big comfort to know that there's
Mm.
angels there with me. And then they heard my request. Yeah. The other type of hints, I'm not too sure what hints the dragons give or what sort of nudges, but I remember there's one time I know I needed to get up early to study before an exam. And I did just say out there, I said that whoever's out there who can wake me up on time to study, to mug just before the exam at 9 a.m. so that I could get to school on time and all that, please do that. So sometimes when I'm deep sleep and then I'm in the state of dreams, I forgot when
Mm.
to wake up, right? Even if the alarm clock is going. And then right in my ear, screaming was like, Teresa, wake up. I was like, what the? And I just jumped out of my bed and I was like, who's that? And then I'll look at the clock and I go, oops, time to go for exams. So these are some of my little experiences. So I guess, for a lot of people out there who have not tuned into their psychic abilities or tuning in to, to all these abilities of hearing and listening to their guides, um, trust me, the guides are dropping hints.
Yeah. But I think it's a little bit tough sometimes because when you're not familiar with it, or if you've been like denying those experiences, everything feels like it's all overlapping. Like your
Mhm.
instincts and signs and inspiration and all of it, if or maybe you're just picking up on other people's body language, like it feels like it's all mushed together, especially when you're not used to connecting with the guides.
That's true. And that's when, people do talk about angel numbers, where they see repeated numbers. So I'm really not too sure about that, but there are occurrences, especially there's this girlfriend of mine.
Yeah.
I remembered when she joined the company with me, she just been destined to have the number 22222. So
Okay.
when she joined the company, right, her ID number for the company was 22222. And she will often see car plates that are 2222, right? And I remember one time when I was traveling to Bosnia and I invited her to come join me on that trip to Bosnia. The flight that she got on, the seat that was assigned to her was 22A or 22 something.
Yeah.
And then the hotel room that she was given was also 222. It's like,
Hmm.
if you want to ignore the signs, like they are not allowing you to ignore the signs. So this are what I think the little things that when the guides really want you to know that something is happening,
Yeah.
something is going on in your life, like take note. Like why is it that you keep seeing tutu and why tutu keep being assigned to her life, right? So I thought that was interesting. So people do talk about seeing repeated numbers as a sign, but
Mm.
I also think that sometimes they will come in form of messages like um, in the notice board or a poster or a signboard or something just so random.
Yeah.
It's like we may, it's just like if they say there are a lot of red cars on the road, you will notice a lot of red cars, so that may be a little whisper to say take
Yeah.
note.
Making you take note of something.
Yeah, and then you will start noticing and keep seeing the repeated message or similar message or something. And I remember
Yeah.
one time, a girlfriend who didn't believe in angels. And I was sharing with her, I said that there are angels. If you don't believe me, just go to the bookshop and ask for a sign. And she,
Hmm.
okay. So she then silently told the angels and said, if you are here, if you are real, um, I am expecting a clear sign. So somehow she then knew that she need to walk down an aisle of books, of really random books. She didn't even check if they are what sort of themes. She didn't check whether it's a business themes or whatever. So she
Yeah.
just walked and then she just slid her hands through the books and then felt that she needed to stop somewhere. And she just picked up the book. And the page she turned to just so happened to have the message that says that, and here I met my angel Celeste. This
Mm.
book it was a romance book. So,
Yeah.
but it was so clear. It said, and here I met
Angel.
angel Celeste.
That's amazing.
And she got goosebumps and she became a convert, believing that she has at least, angels as her guides. Yeah.
Right. And a specific name. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I really love the bookstore because I feel like there's just so much opportunity to like come across if you're kind of like going through a bookstore intuitively. When I was a kid, I used to read so much, and I would I didn't even know about the concept of like book reviews or anything like that because I was really young. So I would just go to the bookstore and I'd do something similar where I just kind of like run my hand through the bookshelves as I would go by and kind of stick my head sideways to kind of just get a general sense of what I was looking at. And then I would feel like one of them stand out to me for whatever reason. And then I would pull that out, read the back, read the first page, and be like, all right, I'm settled. I want to read this book. And for as long as I chose books that way, I never read a single book I didn't like. I enjoyed all of them. And then later on in life, discovered book reviews and things like that. And so I would learn like which books were considered like really good, really popular, that were really resonating with people. And then I started reading books I didn't like because I would kind of get the premise and be like, okay, this is really good reviews. Let me go for it. And I'd be like, this isn't really doing it for me. And that would start happening. So it's one of those things where it's like, as a young kid, this sort of like connection with messages and the intuitive guidance that I was getting
Mm.
really came through. And it's like, sometimes when I want specific books and I remember to not use my brain and try and check all the reviews and check whether or not it's like scoring well with other people and all that, I can just go in and like find stuff in the bookstore. So it's very cool.
In some ways, I'm quite similar to you.
Mm.
Like, I do feel that my journey to be where I am today as a spiritual healer, and working on my psychic abilities and all those things, right? All started in a library.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like I remembered I was in primary school, and somehow, you know, in this primary school, they have books about all these weird things that got me so fascinated, and the things that we're talking about is like reading about Uri Geller, who has the
Hmm.
ability to bend metals and bend spoons and forks across the radio wave. Like, he will go on the radio in the 70s, radio
Hmm.
stations, and then he would talk about his abilities, and then he would demonstrate, like, to the people across the radio waves. He'll go like, to the audiences, pick up your fork and then watch it bend, and it would bend, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, wow, such things exist. And it is in that library, and this is
Yeah.
my primary school's library, that got me tuned in to, like, okay, let's be receptive towards ESP,
Yeah.
all the extrasensory abilities. Because he talked a lot. I mean, like, in the library, I've learned so much more of other interesting abilities. Like, I remember I was very, very envious of this little boy who had learning disabilities, and there was that one time his father was so angry with him that slapped him across the face, and he fell. And then when his head knocked onto the floor together with the chair that fell,
Yeah.
voices in his head and say, let's help him. Or I can't exactly remember, but
Hmm.
ever since, all he had to do, if he wants to read and understand and download all the content of a book, he just have to lie on the book.
Oh
And
wow, just like
yeah, just lie on it, and he will remember everything.
I'm jealous.
I am so envious because, like, being an avid reader, I just couldn't read fast enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I just want to read fast enough and get all the content, and being type A,
Yeah.
want that content now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
go through pages. So I was very envious of him. Like, I was thinking, like, if my parents left me and then I hear just little voices about, like, let's help her. Yeah, so that was one of those things that I, read. And so yeah,
Yeah,
learning on and being on that journey to where I am today. Yeah. Shall
absolutely. Wow.
shall we bring in a guide to talk about, like, what is their purpose? Why do they volunteer to be our guides? And then what is it about the guides that we don't know, that, that, like, top 10 things that we don't know about guides, or top 5 things we don't know about guides that they want to share. Shall we do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've started
Yeah.
to open up the circle already, so let's invite the guides to join us today.
Mm-hmm. Teresa.
Hello,
Hello.
would you like to
Hmm.
introduce yourself?
Hello to all of you. I am one who works with Teresa.
Would you like to describe yourself as a guide? What sort of guide are you?
I am small and soft in feeling, in shape to you. I do not have a particularly strong presence usually, so I wanted to take the opportunity to come forward because I offer the guidance of gentleness, of self-love, and self-acceptance, of
Beautiful.
being kind to yourself. And I feel that many, many people would benefit from this kind of guidance. So I thought it would be nice if I came forward to talk.
That's beautiful. Is there any hints or any tips that you want to share with us about how to embrace self-love?
Hmm. You already talk about it so much, and so much of self-love, or when it doesn't happen, is when people get confused. They feel strong emotions that are hard to deal with when they are angry or sad, and they end up directing it inward into what they call themselves. And then they feel that they must be angry with themselves or sad with themselves or ashamed of themselves. And all of this is a human experience. But when those strong feelings come up, they were never trying to show up to hurt you. They were trying to help you. And when you use your free will and have that tendency to direct it onto yourself, then it can hurt your self-love. And self-love is interesting because it is a natural state for you to love yourself, to be at peace with yourself, and to enjoy your life. So there's not really a tip to create self-love, rather only these tips to help you remove the layers of illusion that make you feel blocked from your self-love.
That's a really good tip. So you are here as a volunteer guide. Why did you choose to volunteer?
I come here, and when I am guide, it is because it is just my nature. So many different guides come from so many different places and have so many different reasons. For me, my guidance is just the expression of my own nature, the nature of my own energy body. And I am attracted to those who will spread my message. I'm attracted to be guide for those who have a lot to do because those people tend to experience really big emotions. And my impression is since they are choosing to experience so much, they may also be vulnerable to creating more illusions inside. And so I try to go with them and sit with them to bring them some peace and some grace for themselves, for them to feel grace for themselves.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for coming forward. And thank you so much for being my guide.
I hope you will continue to share this gift with everybody
I'll do my best.
and to be gentle with yourself too.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for being with me. Let's bring on a guide that is, I guess, common for a lot of our audiences.
This is Archangel Michael.
Oh, I was expecting you. Hello.
You asked for someone who works with many people, and many people do call out to me.
Yes, your name popped into my head, and I go, is Archangel Michael going to make an appearance tonight?
Yes, indeed, I shall make an appearance.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube live. I know you're very tech savvy, so please do
Of
share
course.
any messages that you have for our audiences about guides.
Hmm. The messages that I would like to share about the nature of guides. It is difficult to come up with one whole complete message that encompasses all guides, since many experiences are different depending on the guides. There are some similarities. Guides choose to be with each individual purpose. And when they come forward to work with people, when we come forward to work with people, it is something that is agreed upon in between lives.
Is it also that we can call upon you even if you're not a guide and then request for you to be a guide?
Yes, that is possible. Many people have had that experience with their relatives. Sometimes a relative has passed while someone is alive and, if possible, has returned to continue to guide them for their remaining time in that specific lifetime. There are others like me who tend to guide many people, some people more than others, depending on how we are called upon. There are those who call upon me very often and work with me more closely, and there are others whom I go to when I feel a flash in their frequency that I think would be best served by my presence and help.
That's so beautiful.
Yes, things like that are possible.
Could you share a little with our audience about the purpose of serving as a guide?
Hmm. Perhaps our audience will actually understand this, since within all of you as humans, you have surely felt the urge to help in some way before, whether it was to help each other, someone close to you, a stranger, an animal, or simply a concept that you believe you would like to contribute to. So too do guides have to have these feelings. Guides can have these feelings of affinity with a particular type of energy, with a particular type of experience, and want to come through not to live that experience, but simply to help, to contribute their specific frequency to your equation.
And how do you guide? Like for people who are not channelers and who doubt their abilities to hear from the guides, how do you guide?
There are many, many different ways. We tend to use whatever we can of your physical experience, since that is most obvious for most people. We will use all of your senses, and we will direct you to other people who might, at a particular moment, allow our message to come through in what they are trying to say or do. The written word can be extremely helpful, since we can direct you towards a string of words that matches with the type of guidance we are looking to allow you to receive. We may also come in through different frequencies that can be like sensations and tingling within the body once your body notices it. And we can come through in your dreams.
Ah, yes, I forgot about the dreams. Yes, that's very beautiful, like Archangel Michael. Anything else that you want to share with the audience about how they can work with their guides?
Working with your guides requires an openness to the vast variety of your experience, and to allow yourself to feel that you have support on your side. Many have felt unsupported, and in that frequency have made it harder for themselves to sense their guides. It is okay to be sad or hurt. I'm not asking anyone to deny their experience. I just hope that in any particular moment you might remind yourself that there are more possibilities than you could ever fathom. And support can come from the most unexpected places. Keeping your sense of possibility, your sense of hope, your sense of curiosity and fun alive, all these things can help you to work with your guides.
That's really good. I also know that because we are on Earth and then the guides respect the free will. Does that mean we always need to invite our guides to come and serve as our guide? Or because there was already pre-birth agreement that the guides are always here to be able to support us, even if we did not call out to you?
Yes, even when people are not actively calling out to their guides, the guides who have come and who have chosen to be with them, who they have agreed to have, are with them. It would be very difficult if, say, you were to be injured and unconscious, and the paramedics were asking you for permission to put you on a stretcher. So there are definitely agreements in place beforehand to help people in dire need if we can. There have been times where people have avoided difficult, challenging, dangerous situations because a guide has managed to push through a message to them to redirect their action, tell them to do a particular thing so that they might be cushioned.
Thank you for that. I really like that you specify that really clearly because we had pre-birth agreement of what the guide is here to support us with. There is no really such thing as interfering with our free will
Yes,
just because we did not call out for your help and support.
yes. It is like as a member of a society on the earth, in your country, there might be an agreement to give aid to those who are lacking in food or require medicine. They do not need to be aware in every single situation because there is a pre-standing agreement to help those in need.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Archangel Michael. I really enjoyed having you here joining us on our YouTube, and do come by more often and more regularly.
Of course, if you wish to see me on one of these platforms that you do again, I will bear that in mind.
Thank you. If there's any other guides, I'm not too sure like if the dragons or the fairies want to show up, but if not, we can take a break from channeling. Only if they want to show up.
I think we can take
Yeah.
a
Thank
quick
you.
break. Yeah.
That was some variety. Like
Mm-hmm.
just meeting self-love was very interesting. It's interesting that self-love is my guide. Constant reminder for self-love and everything.
Mm-hmm. It's so wonderful. I think it'd be cool because we've brought in these guides to talk about themselves or working with guides in general, especially Archangel Michael gave us so much information. We actually have something to help people to work with their guides, not just listen to us channeling guides and talking about them, right? We have something coming up.
Yes, we do. So let me share that. Can you see that? Is it on the screen?
I do see that. Yes.
You see it, but it's not showing on YouTube, right?
Oh, yeah?
Is it showing on YouTube? It's not showing on my YouTube. Oh, it's showing up now. Yeah. Little
Lag.
delay, the lag. Yeah. So yes, we are, because there's so much interest for people who wants to hear from their guides and who wants to learn more about working with the guides. So we have created an event for the guides. Sorry, for the guides and also for the people.
For humans.
Actually, it's a really good point. We actually did create this for the guides as well, because many guides actually do want their, I guess, people who they are guiding, the humans and the souls
Yeah, they
they are
want people
guiding.
to work with them more.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they want them to know their existence, and then that how they're here to support and help. So yes, we have created an event. And you can get the tickets either from our website at solistic.com, just go under events, or you can find us on Eventbrite as well. So basically we're doing this in 2 weeks time on the 12th of July, Singapore time, 8 p.m. And that's where we will be giving you an opportunity to learn more about your own personal guides, learn how to feel their presence, and then how to actually just, know who are there with you, what messages they have there for you. It's going to be quite an exciting and exciting experience. And we are going to have our channelers there as well. So
Yep. Yeah,
definitely,
so for some, if we're able to, we'll do some messages for different attendees, and we'll be doing activations to help people to really like feel the presence of their own guides and connect with them. So it's like a little booster on top of, what Archangel Michael talked about. Sometimes it can feel like, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. Is this actually happening? And we'll be there for this particular session to help everyone like really tune in, really hone in, and be able to work with your spirit guides.
yeah. So don't miss this. It is actually created out of popular request. So do join us on this beautiful day. Here are the details, which is on the 12th of July, 8 p.m. Singapore time. It's going to be online, it's going to be on Zoom. And then once you join, we will be able to send you the recordings as well. Because there are going to be some activations and some little exercises to keep you continue to be able to engage with your guide.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so awesome. Yeah. So if anyone is looking to work more deeply with your guides to be able to get, I mean, the guides are literally like your own personal perfect coach or mentor. So, if you want to be able to work more with that kind of energy that's there to just support you, yeah, check it out.
Yeah. So let's go back to our usual.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was very interesting from Archangel Michael and the self-love.
Yes. Your
Yeah,
personal self-love guide. So cute.
yeah, and it really gives a perspective, right? That there are many different types of guides out there, and we are not just limited to one type of guides. Um,
Yeah.
and there are so many of them who come forward to support us. And I mean, I mentioned earlier about when we do healing sessions and we do checking with the guides, and the guides do give us some perspective
Yeah.
of like which areas that we need to zoom in on, and if there are certain patterns in life, if it is due to past life or is it the current childhood trauma, or it is something else that's happening. It gives us a really good holistic perspective of how to zoom in and target, laser target our
Mm.
healing sessions for our clients.
Yeah, honestly, there's some occasions where we have client stuff and it's like, what is actually happening here? Like, what does this mean, right? We'll see something and be like, what does this mean? How did this happen? And then we have to talk to the guides and ask them, like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I think I mentioned before, like there's one time where there's this client who past life show up in a session and it
Yeah.
was mute.
Mm-hmm.
So all she did was gesturing, and I could not get a single word out of her. Like she
Yeah.
was frantic. She wasn't like gesturing,
Oh, yeah. She's like, okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I have no idea how to help her because she was mute and I didn't understand that all she did was just keep grabbing my hands and going shaking and all that. And because it was her past life mute that came up,
Mm.
that's when the guys come in so helpful to tell us like what has happened and what is she panicking about and how to go in to support her and help her. So
Mm.
that was extremely helpful. So what happened to the mute, just to give your closure on the story, was that she actually did have a voice, but she fell in love with the wrong man and the family didn't like it. So they poisoned her so that they killed off her vocal cords. So then that's when she couldn't have a normal relationship with the guy that she loved.
Mm.
She somehow died and she was in sadness. And so when the past life came forward, it was a mute. Um, and we needed to go and heal her heart. And initially, I was like, do we need to heal her voice? And then that's when Archangel Raphael, as a guide, says that no, we need to heal her heart and that's when she will leave in peace. So that
Mm.
was very helpful coming from the guides on how to guide us on how to heal such a situation.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the end, it's like that combination of the information of what happened and then what would be the best way to solve
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah. So because like humanly, I was like, oh my God, since her vocal cords is hurt, let's heal that. And Archangel Raphael was like, no, we just need to heal her heart.
Mm.
So that was very helpful. Yeah. So I mean, it's really nice to hear from the Archangel realm because they are the ones who are constantly with us. Because we do have our guardian angels, we hear about them, and we also have the League of Angels or the legions of angels that we can call upon.
Yeah.
Because Archangel Michael just talked about that, right? So we can call them for help and support, and but they are also pre-birth agreement that they are here to serve as a guide or here to support us and help us, right? um so
Yeah. And the other thing like I just wanted to bring up was like the variety when it comes to the guides is really like very diverse. You know, like we had the guide that I channeled just now that was yours. It felt like very it had like a very specific feeling to it, like shape. And then Michael feels different completely from that. And then it's like other times when we've brought forward people's spirit guides for sessions, they're so different as well. It's crazy the variety when it comes to what kinds of messages they have to share and the way that they serve.
Yeah, and like for the event that's coming up, we're definitely going to do some exercise on how you're going to feel your guides. I remember the first time when I attended a session on learning to meet with my angels, and then
Mm.
we went through a very quiet meditation session and in opening up the circle, inviting the angels to come to us, and then each of us will have to feel how we interact with them, and the angels are really very soft and gentle. So for me, when I feel them, like I will feel first them playing with my head. I'll feel like, how come
Like
some
soft.
yeah, somebody's playing with my
Oh,
head. I'll feel like, how come my hair is moving or something? But of course, like if visually you want to take a look, your hair is fine. But you just
yeah.
the little gentle touches and nudges, and then you feel their wings hugging and cuddling. So everybody will feel a different way of when the guides are here to interact with you. And we're definitely going to bring that into our session, where you would have some confirmation that your guide is here with you. And that's when it's very helpful because we're humans, right? We always want that little nudge and confirmation that I'm not just speaking to thin air and some
Yes.
I'm crazy. People like there are guides there listening to you, to your silent prayers, to your silent appreciation, gratitude, um, and also to call for help. Yeah. So I guess I just really in deep appreciation when the guides work with me because I think for me to be here today to be sharing a lot of the experiences, spiritual growth, spiritual experiences, it's all because the guides have been there, not giving up on me. They don't give up on us because I've been brought up so, I guess, factual and scientific that to say that okay, spirit world is real, I think it's because the guys haven't given up on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, when they talk about like the different signs of how the guides are working with you, sometimes they do pass messages to others. I'm not too sure if you have that experience of others coming to you with a message and it's a guided message because it comes not only one time and it comes to you repeatedly from different people. Did you have
Yeah. I
experience?
mean, for me, at some point in my teens, I started to have this rule where I would interact with something, and if I rejected it, it would typically come back a week later. And then
Mm.
if I rejected it after that, it would come back a year later. And if I still rejected it, it'd come back 3 years later. And I was like, why is this pattern here? And I noticed that when I was trying to learn how to do digital art, because in my work, I do work with a lot of digital software to create illustrations, designs, graphics, all that kind of stuff. And when I was a kid, I became really interested in that. And so I was trying to learn how to do it. But then I kept getting frustrated and dropping it and being like, never mind, I don't care, I don't want it, but it would keep coming back in the form of things like me getting signed up to like be put into a class, and it would just suddenly be part of the curriculum and I'd be like, oh crap, this thing is back. Or I would suddenly be like gifted the software to use, like, oh hey, I bought this, I don't want it anymore, do you want it, that kind of thing. uh and yeah, that was after that kind of thing and like other similar stuff, I started to feel like there was a really consistent pattern to if something was trying to get into my life, it would come back in really specific time frames over and over again.
Wow, I really like that. That's something similar to me, um, rejecting hypnotherapy. So my whole journey of starting to know that I actually have the abilities to activate people's channeling ability is actually by taking them through the alternate consciousness
Yeah.
sub-level of consciousness, right? And that only happens through hypnotherapy. But I rejected hypnotherapy because when I was a psych student in uni, and I took up one module on hypnotherapy, and I failed that only one paper. Like when I did that paper, that was the only paper I failed in my entire life as a uni student. I had a bit of a phobia about hypnotherapy, but it's just a constant message from them to read books on past life regression and then to take up hypnotherapy and and all that, right? And so finally I caved in because they were constantly there. It started with Paulo Coelho's book,
Mm.
one of the book that he wrote about past lives, and then I just constantly keep meeting or coming up with ads that says hypnotherapy. And I'm like, okay, finally I caved in and did that. And that's where the whole thing just spun out of control, where the clients come to my hypnotherapy room
And then they're channelers.
and then their channelers was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so they never give up. If this
Yeah.
is meant to be your destiny, there must be like a pre-birth agreement that said, hey, you know what, if I can't remember this, or I'm rejecting this, or
Just keep putting it in front of my face.
just keep hounding me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember there were so many times, like, I would go for events and people will come to me and they said that, do you not know of your own abilities? I was like, what?
Mm.
Because I'm I was trained as an engineer,
Yeah.
right? It's like for an engineer to accept all this, journey of working closely with our spirit guides, our past life, and healing in a more holistic way where our soul also impacts our physical body. It is quite a difficult concept to accept as an engineer, right? But the constant like meeting of people and giving me messages and showing me signs. It was, as you said, like for you, it was like 1 week, 1 month, 3 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it was a consistent, like maybe 30 years of my life.
Mm.
Yeah, it was that long that I have rejected this. But yeah,
So
the guy,
stubborn.
I know, but the guides didn't give up. But I
Hmm.
remember the first time when we channeled my guide,
Yeah.
and Violet Ray was like, finally.
I've been trying to reach you for so long.
Yeah. So, okay, I think, we've come to the hour, and I'm not too sure if we just want to bring one more variety of guide. before we
Mhm.
close the session, just to give the audience an idea that we do have numerous amount of different type of guides. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can send everyone one last message from the guides before we head off.
Yeah. Okay. Over to you.
All right. Anything you're looking for?
I don't know, like maybe the elementals, like the dragons or the fairies, or even the star nations.
Yep. I mean, there's plenty of options.
Yeah, I'm sure they're
Oh
all
dear.
pick today. Yeah, I'm sure they're really like, pick me, pick me.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. Okay. I am the green dragon.
Ooh, hello, nice to meet you. Welcome to our YouTube channel live.
Yes. And there are many other dragons, dragonkin, that work with people, that come through as guides, and we all support each other. I wanted to come because as earthlings, we too are such. We work very closely with the earth, and you are here with us. We often guide many, many different people in many, many different ways. All sorts of different kinds of dragons have different kinds of natures, can bring forward so many different strengths, usually through people's emotions.
And dragons, how do you serve as guides?
We mostly help. In a nutshell, it is a service where we typically help people to connect with their humanness, to connect with their experience on Earth and being a human. It is grounding for many. But
I've
like I said, there's a large variety.
mm,
I just try to communicate the most common shared experience for those with dragon guides, but it can have a huge variety.
Hey, Green Dragon, I have a question for you. The depiction of dragons is quite different from different cultures. Do you have a description of how dragons are usually like? Like what do you look like?
Serpentine,
Mhm.
that is our commonality, and we can take on many different kinds of forms, though all forms are serpentine in some way. You are right in saying that there are many different depictions of us, because there are many different depictions, interpretations of our energy and the way we show up in different cultures is both a reflection of the variety of our own nature and also the variety of collective consciousness that exists within different cultures. When humanity bands together and forms their societies and tribes, it also forms a specific kind of filter or color, if you will, along the experience of members of that group that can also shape the way they experience us, elementals, or other beings that are more subtle in nature.
Very interesting. And I really like that. And I really enjoy working with the dragons, especially I know that you're so close to Mother Earth and Mother Nature. And there's a lot of the work that the dragons do help to, I guess, nurture and nourish and working with Mother Nature to keep
Mhm.
our earth vibrant and healthy.
Yes. My final message and purpose in coming here tonight is to bring the message of collaboration and coordination to everybody. Since all of those, all of you have your guides that are there for you, working with you, and part of human nature is to work with others. So I hope we can all work together to make our home a wonderful place for us to fulfill our all different purposes and the desires that we have when it comes to the fulfillment of our life experiences. That
Indeed.
is, yes, that is ultimately what the guides are trying to assist with. Whatever beings are your guides are trying to assist you in forming a life experience that is fulfilling to your ultimate wish.
Thank you. That's a very good reminder. Thank you so much, Green Dragon. I really appreciate you making your presence felt and presence known.
I will see you again.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Okay.
I really like the last message. It is
Yeah.
that the guides are here to ensure that we have the most beautiful experience that we have signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
Experience we have signed up for, be it a very exciting one or a very peaceful one, they are here to help us achieve what we want to achieve. Yeah. So with that, I guess we'll have to end this beautiful segment of having to meet so many beautiful guides who came through. And I know that there are many guides for all the audience listening in. They are also by your side, hoping that you open up to working closely with them. And for those of you who really wants to meet your own guide and want to work with them, just sign up for the coming up event that we have planned for you and your guides on the 12th of July. We look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you.
And we can put the links and everything for that in the description. And
Yes, I will do that. Thank you.
nice.
Do that right now.
And I think we have a QR code if anyone's looking. I sent you a QR code that they can use.
Yeah, let me find that.
Yeah.
Um, yes, there's this QR code. Hmm.
Yeah, that will go to our website.
Yeah, how do I share that here?
I think we can just share screen, right?
Yep. Yes, good point. Let me share that right now.
Okay. There we go. So we'll head off right now. And yeah, I mean, thank you everyone for coming along. I hope you will, whatever you choose to do, I hope you'll enjoy connecting with your guides, and see like, play with that experiment, explore, connecting with your guides. What about you, Teresa?
Yes, I think sometimes we may feel very alone, but we are not.
Mm,
We are not
mm.
alone in our human experience journey. There is a huge team who is going through your whole experience with you, supporting you, helping you. So don't forget that. And it is just lovely to know that you have a team working with you. So do use this opportunity to work with your team. If not, they will feel like,
They will still try as
they will
we
still
as we shared,
try.
right?
Yeah, they will still try. They didn't give up on me for 30 years.
Yeah, they won't ever give up on you. But it's, it's nice to be able to get that extra guidance. Yeah.
It is absolutely. So it's just really beautiful, very loving energy. Sometimes I think they do give tough love, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are definitely here to support us. So with that, we send all our love to you and your guides.
And your guides, where's my camera? Okay.
Oh,
Yay.
why is it that sometimes they show love?
Sometimes hearts, sometimes. Oh, there you go. I
Yeah.
don't have this kind of power.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank
Cindy.
you, everyone.
So let me uh stop this. Yay.